everybody. It's Ronnie West from iMagnet Management. I am here with the CEO of FutureVu Brands, Jeff Franson. Thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. We are at your brand new facility. This place is amazing. I'm curious to know, how long of a process was it to kind of, from start to now, of kind of getting this?
29 years.
29 years. That's pretty true, I guess.
It is true. Yeah.
And hearing kind of how you guys started with washing windows and kind of building that up. So I think I'm curious to know, like, the journey up to the culmination of now, like, what has been at least with this process of the building, was there anything favorite? Is there a favorite spot here? Like, what was kind of the thing that hooked you on this? Obviously, nobody can kind of see behind me, just the open workspace, the collaborative areas. And I've told everybody here, I feel more productive being here just because I'm around other people, and it just kind of gives that feel.
Sure.
So I think, one, your customers, your clients, and your staff are all going to benefit from that kind of collaborative effort. Is there any other things that you kind of feel like, hey, this is the reason we have this place is going to benefit A, B, or C, because we now have the ability to do this?
Well, I think you touched on the main justification for this type of investment, because it is an investment.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But it's in correlation with the investments that we've made historically, whether it's in people or training or whatnot. This is like at the level that we feel like we've operated at for a long time, right? So to be here under this roof, which is a great historic spot in downtown Marietta, which is a great town in the middle of Cobb County, and this is not where I'm from, but I've been here long enough now that I call it home. Is pretty special. And it needed to be practical to start, right? It needed to actually be a building that met our business needs, right? Whether it's warehousing or light production or office, this has all three, and the layout is just spectacular for the type of business we have today and the way that we operate. But it also needed to be in an area that people could get to, right? Yep. So we've got 40 to 50 people that are in this area. We could not move to the other side of Atlanta, or we would have lost half our people. So this part of Marietta is a big growth area. So we really did spend about 3 years searching for the right spot. So it needed to be practical, where it fit our business footprint. It was local, and our people could get here. But on top of that, culturally, and for me personally, we wanted to have a space that people looked forward to going to.
Oh yeah.
Right? Life, I come from the side of the tracks where life is not a dress rehearsal, and it's short. I don't want to say YOLO. My kids might say YOLO, but at the end of the day, I want to personally enjoy going to a place of business every day and feel good about being in that space. And I wanted that for my people as well, because I think that it's a virtuous loop. I think if people want to be there, they'll be there longer, they'll enjoy themselves, and all of those things are beneficial to our long-term business strategy. So it took some time to find it, but we're very, very fortunate to find ourselves here today.
That's great. So taking a step back and kind of looking at, now you said over 29 years of building all of this, was there anything that kind of jumped out at you or surprised you when you first kind of got into the industry?
When I first got into the industry was a long time ago. What surprised me and what probably hooked me into the business was how few people knew about the solutions that we were providing, number one. And this is 25, 28 years ago. I mean, it's still a very low awareness product, right? Yeah. Back then, it was not on anyone's radar other than people in Southern California or Texas or Florida, and in Georgia. There are probably a few companies that were tinkering around with window films, but it was really not a well-known solution. And for me, coming from a northern climate, I'm from Boston, it wasn't part of our culture at all, okay? Nobody in my neighborhood growing up was getting their windows tinted in their home or their business. Just wasn't happening. So what kind of hooked me was the simple fact that when we were doing installations, number one, I was always impressed at the actual performance of the films. Like, man, this shit works, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd look at your customer, and your customer would be like, wow, I can't believe I haven't had this done sooner. And you start hearing that like over and over and over again. You like light bulb goes off. Like, wow, nobody knows where to source this product. Nobody knows what it costs. People don't know what it can do, and everybody we do this work for absolutely loves it. This is a nice business to really invest in, right?
Yep.
And that's what we did. We dove in, head first, and invested a lot of time and energy. I wish I had been trained better, but that was my own fault of not pursuing the training that's available today. That just wasn't, part of what was happening, at least in my experience. I showed up at a distributor, actually in Canton, Georgia. We were just talking about Canton. And I rolled in and I told them I wanted to get in the window film business and expand my window cleaning company. And they were pretty much like, great, here's a squeegee and a box of N1050. And as long as I had my Discover card and it worked, I was a dealer. That was it.
Yeah.
And having the benefit of hindsight, had I spent more time researching, and this is really like early internet time, so you couldn't just go to ChatGPT being like, what are the 20 things I need to do next? Right? That just didn't exist. I wish it did. But the reality is that we pretty much learned on our own, and that was a painful, long process. But today, the training and the opportunity to partner up with folks in the industry, the YouTube videos, just the different classes that are available, the advancements that have been made. This is an extremely entrepreneurial group of people, very creative group of people that are in this industry, and it's been a great opportunity to grow in that type of environment. It's been a lot of fun, and if you can do this right, you can make good money doing it.
No, absolutely. My one friend, when I told him about the window film industry, and it's kind of become our tagline, is the riches are in the niches. And so if you can find that niche,
sure,
where you can be productive, and like you said, you leave the customer like, why didn't I do this? And then I think that probably in itself is contagious, or you want to hear that more.
Sure.
So I'm sure that kind of builds business and motivation.
Yeah, to that point, I think that when we first started here in Atlanta, fortunately, we were enjoying a tremendous amount of growth. The amount of residential properties being built post-Olympics was unlike anything this country had ever seen before. We just happened to be in that market. It's just fortuitous, right? And so we had 3 or 4 window film solutions. It was dark, medium, light, invisible. That was all we had. They were shiny, but they did the job. And we'd go from home to home to home, and that was our go-to-market, and everybody needed it. But to your point, relative to niches, when we look at the products that we are offering today, whether it's switchable films or cloaking films or bird-friendly films or the other 50 different products that with the same guy, the same tools, the same method of application, the same pretty much everything, insurance, truck, or whatnot. Now we're offering solutions from protection from golf balls to windstorms to ballistics and so on and so forth. The niches today with grit, that's where I think the riches can be. If you're willing to go out and really execute on an everyday basis. This is a brick and mortar business. You can't just do this really well 8 or 9 months out of the year and have a successful business. You literally need to be doing it 12 months out of the year, I believe, to be truly successful.
Absolutely right. And with that, I think across the window film industry, whether installers or shops might be coming across different issues. If you could magically snap your fingers and fix one problem across the window film industry, what would it be?
I think it's a great question. So, my specialty is more in architectural, so I can speak, I think, more authentically to that segment. I think that there's a problem today of certification, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's a really big issue that's only increasing on the security side of the business relative to the solutions we have to offer and the way they're being presented within the marketplace. I think there's a really big issue that over time is only growing, and unfortunately, it's only going to take 1 or 2 events to go the wrong way, and there's going to be a big problem in the security film world relative to, hey, you thought you were buying bulletproof window film, and it turns out that's not the case, and we had an event, and all of a sudden it's a disaster, not only for the people that are impacted directly, but potentially for the industry. So I think that if I could snap my fingers, it would be and I'm not a big legislation guy. I'm not a big regulation type guy, but there needs to be a enhanced level of rules and structure around a certified installer. What that really means. I don't think we need to go down the route of apprenticeships or being like a plumber or an electrician. You need to get state licenses, but there needs to be something more rigorous than what we have today, because I think it puts the entire industry at risk.
No, that's very true. That's something I hadn't even thought of, but that's a great point. Kind of shifting gears, going back to the growth and future of FutureVu. Now that you've gotten this settled, now what is the next step? What is your view, or what is the next big goal in the future?
So we have plans. We want to grow. We want to create. We like to build. I think that's our core competency. I think that we've done a really nice job of developing 3 core national brands that are similar in the markets that we service, but they really are standalone, unique brands. I think we're good at that. So brand number 4, brand number 5. I think naturally that's going to happen. I think we'll recognize opportunity and build a brand around that. Mm-hmm. Not every idea is a good idea, right? Most ideas are bad. And at this point, you need to be very careful as to which ideas that you get enthralled with, but may not have the skill set or the investment levels needed to actually see those executed at a high enough level. So we need to be very careful to make sure that if we're going to make 1 or 2 big bets a year, we're betting very smartly. But I think it'll be new brand creation for FutureVu Brands. There'll be a level of acquisition. I think there's adjacent businesses in the space that we think are really attractive that we'd like to bolt on to what we're already doing. Mm-hmm. Whether we do something in the next 12 months or so, we'll see, but we very well could. But we've got a team that is really part of our fundamental characteristics is growth mindset and gritty. And we've got people that want to grow. They want to make more money. They want to build business. And that's the type of people that we retain and attract to FutureVu Brands. I still consider myself a relatively young guy in this business, right? I have a 12-year-old, so I'm not retiring anytime soon. And my dad, who still works in the business, he's 78, and he'll sell more window film out of our office in Boston this year than 99% of the window film installers out there in the marketplace. So we still feel like we've got a very long runway, but we just need to be very judicious in the opportunities that we pursue, because you can't pursue too many at one time, number one, and there's only so much your balance sheet can afford to do, and there's only so much that your team can believe in at one time, right? And so that's also part of the dynamic of, folks on my side of the spectrum of like, I'm a strong starter, creative type person, right? But you need finishers in your operation to actually execute day in, day out, right? Not just for an interesting quarter or half of a year, but for years, right? Yep. Oh, yeah. So what I try to not do is, spout off about every opportunity that we're looking at, right? Or take the team in this like crazy direction this week, and the next week, no, we're talking about this now. I mean, I have individuals on staff that we bounce around ideas like that, but certainly the teams that we have focused on the brands that we have, they need to focus on those brands, because those brands are all a lot of upside. 2 are relatively new. Impact Security's 7-8 years old. CoolVue's going into its 4th year, and those are very early in their development. So FutureVu Brands, acquisition, brand creation, but all of the existing brands have tremendous upside growth potential, and we just need to make sure that the people responsible for each of those brands keeps their eye on the ball.
And I'll finish up with this, and I feel like you've sort of answered most of the question within the last one. But for you personally, what does success look like to you moving forward?
That's a great question.
Because I'll interrupt and say it. from hearing what you just said, and I think going off of what your father is still being in the business of working, I sort of see that with you. Do you see yourself being in it, needing to have that purpose and kind of drive within this, or is it something where it could be something else? I don't want to...
Yeah, so, FutureVu Brands, I mean, obviously the brands that we have today are in the architectural markets, right? They've been adjacent businesses that we've kind of incubated. They had a level of success. We believed in them. We spun them off, and we created other independent LLCs with different leadership structures and whatnot. And I think for the way that we're set up here today, and I'd say today in the next few years, having other adjacent businesses that fall under that umbrella, that's probably what we'll continue to do. 5-10 years out, do we have all those brands under the umbrella still? Probably not. Maybe one gets sold off, maybe 2 consolidate, maybe 1 fizzles out. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
Just because you think it's a good idea doesn't mean that you can sustain the market for it longer term. I mean, and a lot of that's not up to us. Yeah. So longer term for me, success at the end of the day is being able to sleep well at night. Not having to worry about the financial pressures that come with growing a family in today's day and age, those things, and we still all have those pressures. Taking care of the little ones, like my little guy over here, making sure that they're comfortable and have what they need. That's important, but it's certainly not looking at a spreadsheet and seeing how many zeros might be there. That's not really a gauge that I track that much. The making good money is important, but it can't be the end all at all. Having an organization like this that I think is pretty well respected, I think for the right reasons, and having a team of quality people around the way we have, that for me is successful, right? I enjoy the people that come here and do the work, and I think they enjoy me for the most part, right? That is successful. I enjoy the fact that I can work with family members, and there's probably 7 of us in the family that are in this business, and some of them have been working with me for 15, 20 years. That is successful to me. Yeah. And I said it prior, my dad and I being able to work in business together. Granted, he's in Boston, I'm in Atlanta, and that, 1,700 miles probably, helps. But the fact that we've been able to work together, do well, and he'll tell you that, he really enjoys his work and wishes he started 20 years ago. That's success, right? Yes. And so at the end of the day, if I go home and my wife's got a smile on her face and I'm able to, coach my kids' teams and that type of stuff. For me, that's the success that I'm looking for.
That's a great answer. No, I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping in and joining.
Thanks for being here, Ronnie.
Yeah, no problem. Jeff Franson, CEO of